Sounds good.
All right, bro. Cool. Let's get started. Right on, man. Yo, everybody, welcome to Speaking Out Loud. It is your boy Rene. Along with me is Mr. Andres, the Bullet Quintana himself. Andres, I appreciate you coming on, man. It's a pleasure. I'm excited to talk fights with you. Of course, my perspective is a fan perspective. Never been in the cage, but I do watch some TV. So hopefully I can give out some knowledge. But, man, I'm more interested in your perspective on what we're going to see tonight. So I appreciate you coming on. Andres, just tell me where people can go search you. Tell us a little bit about yourself. And yeah, man, let's go from there.
Hey, Renee, thank you again for having me on. I really appreciate it. It's going to be a fun afternoon. I have a whole bunch of social media. I have every social media you probably could think of. I'm on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Just search my name, Andres Quintana, and it should pop up pretty easy. I think my username on everything's Bullet Quintana. I was born and raised in Roswell. I've been fighting for over 15 years for sure. I started out boxing, and then while I was still boxing, I kind of transferred into MMA. About the age of 16, I had my first MMA fight, and I've been fighting ever since. And I'm about 13 years deep, about 10 years in as a pro. My record's 18-3, and I was signed to Combate Americas. I fought in the Copa Combate tournament in 2018 in December, and I represented America. And I went on and I fought 3 different guys in that night, and I won the whole tournament. So it was super cool.
Yeah, that was dope, man. I saw it. It was on Telemundo, I believe.
Telemundo or Univision, I believe.
Yeah, I want to say it was Telemundo. It was dope. Your championship fight to win the tournament. First of all, what I do want to ask you is, how the hell do you fight 3 fights in one night, for one? And then last is, what was running through your head as you throw that spinning elbow to drop the guy?
It was super, really tough. It was a lot more mental. And, my body was breaking down by the 3rd fight. In my opinion, I had the hardest bracket. Just going on through, I had a whole bunch of super tough opponents. And the guy that I fought in the finals had a pretty easy ride up to the top. But, I had like about 30 minutes in between each fight to even prepare for the next fight. I don't even think I warmed up. Didn't take off my gloves, didn't rewrap, didn't do anything. Literally went in the back, iced up what I could, maybe hit mitts for 5 minutes, kind of made sure my body was warm, and jumped back in. We're going back to another fight. We're walking back out. Yeah, it was insane.
That's crazy, bro. And I do remember the fight before that. You had faced adversity. So it was really awesome to see the heart in you, and I think that's the Mexican in you, that dog.
Exactly.
That, how people preach about how Mexican fighters have that inner dog in them. That's definitely what we saw in you in that fight, and to me, it was inspirational. And then when I saw your championship fight, it was hard. Like when you root for fighters that kind of hit that kind of wall and then go over that hill, it's so impressive, man. It's inspiring. So what I want to know is, when you got clipped in that fight before, what runs through your head, and then how do you catch yourself again? Like, how do you bring yourself back up to keep fighting?
Basically, like what had happened when I got clipped. Like the guy was coming from Team Alpha Male, so I thought he was going to be more of a wrestler. I was like, I was going to like kind of throw a few big punches and try and take me down. So I was kind of fighting really low, and comes over the top and clips, and you're like, shit. I knew exactly what was happening, and I was like, fuck, man. I was like, all right, he's going to throw some heavy shots, and as I was on the ground, kind of was like, all right, I cannot take another big shot. So I kind of just pulled him in, and trying to buy myself a little bit of time and stay composed, work myself back up. And then I knew, all right, he wants to strike, so we're going to strike. And I was able to finish him at the time. So
yeah, it took him out and took the next.
Yeah, it's kind of just like my thought process at the time. But fights are crazy and anything can happen.
Yeah, man, that was beautiful. That was cool to watch, man. And I appreciate you doing your thing, man. I know you come out of Roswell, so it's always awesome to see someone from here at home do big
Yes, sir.
things. So good stuff, bro. Hey, I do have a question for you. I talked about this. I had kind of went on a rant about Sean O'Malley, and I was talking about calf kicks. Obviously, calf kicks is something that's arising in MMA, and it's obviously effective. Justin Gaethje has also said that that's something after like 4 kicks, that nerve on the calf kind of goes out. I don't want to get kicked in the calf, but I almost want to just try it so I know what it feels like. I'm sure you've been kicked in the calf. What is like? Does that nerve just give out where the leg just kind of goes dead?
I kind of believe like it's depends where you get kicked. Sometimes like you get kicked just in the muscle and like you just can't even like feel your leg. And like I was sparring with Cowboy and he's really good at the calf kicks, and like he was kicking the crap out of my calf on one of the nights we were sparring, and it just kind of like your leg is like kind of like not there in a way. Like you could still feel it, but like it just doesn't work properly. Like you like kind of limp on it. You're like tenderfooted. Yeah. Have you ever like had like a really bad like bruise, I guess, like a soreness? It's like even hard to describe. Like the muscle just don't work. And like if you touch it, it's painful, you know, like that's when you walk, like literally when you walk, you're like, damn, man, that hurts.
Yeah, it's crazy. And Sean O'Malley got at first when I was watching that fight, I was like, I thought he just like rolled his ankle or something. And then I rewatched the fight. He did get clipped in the calf, and that's when his like leg kind of turned to a noodle and he kind of rolled over it. And that's I'm assuming that's kind of what happens. That nerve just kind of goes dead and that foot's just a noodle at that point.
Something like that has like never exactly happened to me, but you know, there's a lot of different types of injuries and stuff. But yeah, that's exactly what it looked like. And I don't know if you've seen Henry Cejudo whenever he fought Mighty Mouse, the same thing happened.
Oh yeah,
probably not to the extent, but yeah, it just kind of gives out. You just don't feel it, you know.
And what's his name? Henry Cejudo, man, he got Demetrius about. He was chopping down at that leg like a tree. So that was pretty crazy. But all right, bro. Well, before we move on to the card, well, we're only going to cover the co-main event and the main event. Just tell us about your sponsor, that T-shirt you get on.
Combat Corner. They're a big. They distribute a whole bunch of fight gear, fight clothes, a whole bunch of stuff. They provide me with all my shin guards, my knee pads, elbow pads, headgear, gloves, everything. So they're freaking quality. If anyone's even into MMA, likes to train, likes to go hit the bag, you know, go check them out. They have some of the best gloves and some of the best gear available.
Hell yeah, man. Right on. Well, let's go ahead and move on to this card. I don't want to keep you too long, my guy. So let's go. It's going to be the co-main event. Or right now, actually, we got Diego Sanchez, Mr. New Mexico, Albuquerque, New Mexico. He's fighting right now, so feel free. I know you're watching it. I'm watching it right here. So if you see something interesting, man, just feel free to do your thing. But so we got Dominic Reyes against Jan Blachowicz. Am I saying that right? That's a tough last name.
I believe so. Me, myself, I'm not that great with names. So
I'm just going to go with Jan. So Jan has been in the UFC for a couple years. Dominic Reyes, obviously, he hit that platform after he fought John Jones. What I'm curious and what you think is what has to happen in this fight in order to get John Jones' attention? Because as of right now, like I personally don't know how much respect the lightweight champion will get because John Jones is leaving the division on his own. So that championship belt kind of has that asterisk on it right now.
He's like a paper. Yeah. Either or has to go in there and finish him impressively. They can't really coast in a way and be expected to be respected, you know. Jan, he's big power. So I would think for Jan to win, he's got to go in and try and clip him early. Dominic Reyes is very dangerous. He's very talented, and you seen what he did with John. A lot of people even thought that Reyes even won the fight. And to me, you got to beat the champ, go in there and really beat the champ to be the champ. But, you know, there's a lot of naysayers. So.
And I was one of them. I was one of them.
Right.
When I watched the fight, of course, I was intoxicated a little bit. So my perspective on it at that exact moment is all completely hype. So, but I thought Dominic Reyes won it 3-2, and then I rewatched the fight. I thought John Jones kind of edged out that third round. But the one thing that I will say is Dominic Reyes has to perform today, it has to be like a complete domination. I think he has to see a first round KO. He has to put the guy to sleep in order to get John Jones' attention. But on that fight that he had with John Jones, if you want the belt, you kind of I would have liked to see more of a dirty fight, like whenever he fought Gustafsson. I feel like you can make the argument for Gustafsson winning that fight because he actually put the pressure on John Jones. He busted him up. It was a crazy fight. As for this one, it was like total punches in the first and second round. John Jones didn't even have a scratch on his face. So it was hard to – I mean, when you're going after the best in the world, John Jones is easily the best on the planet.
Yeah, he's probably considered the GOAT of the moment.
Yeah. Like if there's a GOAT, if there's a definition for GOAT, it's definitely John Jones. I'm not the biggest fan of John Jones, but I also respect the fact that he is the greatest of all time. So in order for them to get someone's attention today, you got to see someone get knocked out in the first round. And that's what makes this fight interesting.
True, very true.
Yeah, and you're looking at Dominic Reyes, 12-1, his only losses against John Jones. It's his time. Even if they don't get John Jones' attention, at least UFC fighters will – not UFC fighters, but UFC fans will have his respect as a lightweight champion and maybe bark something on the mic to get John Jones to kind of want to come back.
What I think he'll probably have to go on a kind of a 3-4 fight run defending the title. And then John's like, all right, I'm going to draw it back down. I'm going to show you who the real champ is, you know? Yeah. That's what I would think would have to happen, to be honest. Because John's after big money fights right now. It's time of his career. He wants big money fights. And go to heavyweight. He's going to try and, he's going to try and beat everyone there and get the title, run that for a little bit. And then if Reyes is dominating at 205, he's like, all right, it's time for the rematch, Timing's always everything.
Yeah, because Dominic Reyes really doesn't have a name. No disrespect to him, but he really doesn't have a name.
He got his name from the night fighting John Jones.
Exactly. And while we're on John Jones, he wants to fight Stipe. I don't think he should fight Stipe. I think Francis Ngannou should get that shot. Do you feel like stylistically, do you think John Jones has a better chance against Stipe or against Francis Ngannou?
That's a hard question.
That's his first heavyweight fight.
Yeah, because he's going up a weight class. And I'm not sure what he works on. I don't know where his mindset's going to be at. If he's going to fight Francis Ngannou, it's kind of more of a straightforward game plan. Don't get hit with big shots, and let's test his ground game. His ground game didn't look all that great against and anyone that's taken him to the ground. So John may try and exploit that. And of course, John has probably got to put on some muscle and some weight to go up to heavyweight and to be comfortable. I'm assuming he's doing that as of now. Yeah,
and he was powerlifting last year, so I don't think it's going to be hard for him to gain that. My only thing on him is just all you have to do. Francis Ngannou hasn't really gotten out of the first round since Stipe, and when it happened, we saw what happened. So I think John Jones it's kind of like that DC mentality. Just get out of the first round, allow him to have that rush. We haven't seen his gas tank because he doesn't get out of the first round. And the last time he did get out of the first round, he got beat up by Stipe. So John Jones 100% has a chance, but Francis Ngannou puts people to sleep.
That's a scary weather storm. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Have you been in a situation like that before where you kind of have to, like someone's that aggressive where you just kind of have to wave it out a little bit?
Yeah, for sure. Me personally, I feel like I'm like more of a late round fighter. In the first round, it kind of takes me a little bit to warm up, so that's kind of like probably where people have the most success is kind of trying to put pressure on me then in the first round. But once I'm nice and warm, I could go 5 rounds easy. I don't think I ever had to have gone 5 rounds. I think I've done it once in the amateurs, but that was amateur back in the day, and I won the decision. And, I'm kind of more of a late round fighter. Yeah.
Right on, man. Well, you obviously got the power. We've seen it. Let me ask you this. What's your prediction on that fight?
For who?
For Reyes and Yan.
I think Reyes is gonna win. He's gonna, avoid the big punches and pick him apart and probably stop him. I believe he'll stop him in the second, third round.
What's interesting is Yan he's a little bit known for his wrestling. He actually likes to take fighters down. But these last 2 fights that he's won, they've been by knockout. He did clip Anderson. So that was a hell of a knockout. But I think that Dominic Reyes is obviously better on his feet. He's got the better footwork. I think he's faster. I think Dominic has trouble if he gets put down on the ground. But I do think he wins. But if he gets down on the ground, it's going to be interesting.
And I believe Jan used to be an 85er, correct? Correct me if I'm wrong.
I believe so.
Yeah, so I mean, the size is also a big difference.
Yeah. We're looking at Reyes is 6'4", and Jan is 6'2". The reach difference is similar at 77, 78. And then their leg reach, Jan actually has 4-inch leg reach. As to Dominic Reyes is 43.5. So as far as like size, it's pretty similar.
It is.
Dominic
is
more athletic guy.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so hopefully Reyes gets it, man. I mean, he's kind of similar to you. He's like that Mexican American guy. So I'm rooting for him. I'm definitely rooting for him.
Yep, me as well. And he's also representing America, so always
go him. There you go. Let's move on to the Adesanya against Costa. Paul Costa, beefy dude. Thick, man. Thick. He's probably he's your GQ magazine guy.
He's taking Luke Rockhold's place, huh?
Yeah, that's for sure. And I mean, Luke hasn't had the best time in the UFC these last couple fights. So,
yep.
I mean, we really haven't seen like that pretty boy run the show. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So this is definitely Costa's chance. But I just want you to touch on both fighters. What are you expecting from Adesanya, and what are you expecting from Costa in order to win this fight?
I think Adesanya is going to come out and do the exact same thing he's been doing, kind of defend the takedown and pick him apart with his, quote unquote fancy striking. He's really unorthodox, and it's kind of hard to prepare for someone that you can't train with that they can mimic. They can mimic easily. Because he's going to do a lot of different things, and little subtle movements can change the game a lot. And it's hard to bring in people that can mimic Adesanya, I believe.
Yeah.
And then,
100%.
Yeah.
Let me cut you off. I'm sorry. Just go off of you on that. The only thing that's close to Adesanya really is Anderson Silva, if I'm right. But I mean, it depends which group you grew up with, because I'm a big Anderson Silva fan, but you can definitely see that Adesanya has these same features, but it's at another level because he's so much faster, I think. I mean, when you saw them fight, you saw the similarities between the two, but you did see that Adesanya did kind of have a step on Anderson. Granted, Anderson was fighting his down stages of his career, but it's amazing for me to see that it's like the birth of Anderson Silva at another level. I think that to me, that's amazing. But
it's like the new age, huh?
Yeah. 2.0, man.
Yes, sir.
But go ahead on Costa.
Costa, he's going to come in and throw some big bombs. He didn't look too great against Yoel, and it's hard to gauge people off of their similar fights. But I mean, if we have that, Adesanya should pick him apart. Costa, I'm assuming Costa is going to try and take him down and kind of like test his jits, but let's see if he can do. That's going to be the key: is can he get Adesanya down to the ground? How is his cage work? How is his open shots? What is he thinking? Is he going to roll into a heel hook? We don't know,
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Let's see what he brings.
Unlike the cage in here in Las Vegas. Mm-hmm. At the Apex Center, that cage is smaller. So the one that they're fighting in Abu Dhabi, Dubai, that one's a lot bigger, which I think benefits Adesanya.
I agree.
A lot more because he gets to move around. Because Costa's, I mean, granted, this is just my opinion, but Costa's only chance is either getting Adesanya down and, like you said, and testing his skills on the ground, or tagging him. Adesanya has a chin. I mean, we saw it against Gustafsson. He's got tagged a couple times. He regroups right away. He doesn't fall under pressure, which is great. That's when his footwork when you really see his footwork in display is when he's tested. Against Joel Romero, I think we saw it wasn't the greatest fight in the world. If you paid for it, you're probably pissed.
Yeah.
But if you watch the fight and pay attention to his movements, nothing is rushed. He's patient. He's always waiting for the right move. And you got to respect that. And I'm sure you understand that because you're a fighter yourself. But like, yes, for your average fighting fan, they don't. I mean, all they want to see, is a complete knockout or they want to see blood. But in that fight, it was 100% textbook from Adesanya. There's no need to rush it. Like we said about John Jones, if you want my belt, come get it. Come get it. And that's the mindset I think Costa has. And I do see him rushing Adesanya. And that's the way I think Adesanya wins. Is he's a counter fighter. They've both been egging on each other. Hey, come on. Costa wants Adesanya to get that chin out there so he can clip him. That's really his only chance. I mean, outside of Yoel Romero, you don't really know who Costa's fought or has he been tested. A lot of his fights have been TKO, so the guy hasn't really knocked anybody out. It's all just been a count of punches landing. When you get tagged up about 8-10 times, you're eventually going to fall, right?
Yeah, you should.
I'm interested to see if Costa really has that power in his hands and the chin, because I'm going to expect Adesanya to clip him at least once, twice, and you've seen Adesanya clip people, and he doesn't rush the knockout. I think that's what separates him from a lot of other fighters.
And the problem also with Costa is his gas tank. I mean, I don't know if you've kept up with him from the Ultimate Fighter, but he lost his fight in the Ultimate Fighter just because he didn't have enough gas tank in the third round.
Yeah, and honestly, in any of his fights, he's fought 5 times in the UFC, and he's only had 1 decision. All his other wins have been in the first round. So it's going to be interesting what happens when you get in that deep water and you haven't been there before. So, I mean, you're 100% right on that. His gas might be the reason he goes to sleep tonight.
Yes, sir.
All right, man, I've taken enough of your time. Who's your winner?
I got to go with Adesanya for sure.
How?
I think he'll stop him 3rd or 4th round.
Knockout?
Yeah, TKO.
Hell yeah, man. Me too. I'm thinking 3rd round because I'm assuming Adesanya's going to mess around with him a little bit, gas him out, and then he's going to put him to sleep. But don't be surprised if my dude gets clipped. I hope it doesn't happen. My money is on Adesanya. If I were to tell you where to put your money, it's going to be on Adesanya. It's just a matter of it happens now. But you got to tune in, man. Everybody tune in. UFC 253 today on ESPN Plus. Order it, get it, watch it. Andres Quintana, the Bullet, baby. Appreciate you coming on, man. Again, you can catch my man on Twitter, Twitch, real active on Twitch. I see you always on Twitch. So check my guy out, and you're going to be fighting soon?
I am hoping. We have been working on a lot of things. We're talking with a lot of big organizations. We're talking with everyone. Maybe Bellator, maybe getting a local fight, trying to get back into the UFC. I don't know what's going on with Combate, but big things are going to be happening.
Hey, y'all, bro. We'll keep it posted. I'd love to share. I'd love to see your fight. Let me know what's happening. Keep us posted, and I'll keep my friends posted. And got all our love and support, man. Appreciate you coming on my show.
I appreciate you, Renee. You guys take care.
All right, man. Y'all have a wonderful night. Enjoy the fights. This is Speaking Out Loud. See ya.
Later, brother.